I see that a lot, usually from, highly, really educated individuals, doctors and stuff. And they're like, well, my kids, you're either going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Those are two options. And it's like, well, hold on, mom. Like, and for me too, like I have two very different children. My son is all me. He loves school, loves learning. He eats it up. He wants to do some great things in this world. Great. I support him in that. I love that about him. My daughter, all about sports. Fun. And we all know my daughter. And she is fun. She wants to travel the world. And she doesn't know what she wants to do yet. So guess what? She's not going off into the world yet. Like, just because she doesn't know. And that's okay. I'm giving her some time.
And here's the thing. She's not ready.
No, she's not socially and emotionally ready.
You got to know that too. You got to know when your child is ready for that type of environment, or to be, thrust into the world.
Now my job now I'm like going back, because obviously my son is older. So he was ready to go. He was like, Mom, let's go. Like colleges, blah, blah, blah. Senior year, he knew he was off. Her now graduating, I'm having the upset. So now I'm thinking, what do I need to do? And this is where I check myself. Okay, what do I need to do to make sure if I'm giving her another year, what do I need to do to make sure she has confidence that she can go out in the world and do this? So now I'm like, Anaya, you're almost out of your medication. You better call the pharmacy. And I'm telling her, you feel you have an ear infection? Urgent care is down the street. And I'm telling her this stuff, and I'm making her do it, and it's pushing her. Yes, it's
and she's going to end up on our couch. Nah, girl, we got you. Yeah. We love you.
She's uncomfortable with it, and I'm like, too bad. And her coaches, hey, talk to your coach.
That's good though.
But it's hard for me because yes, I want to help her. I want to help my child, but I know that's not going to be good for her. I'm trying to teach her to, you got this. You're good. People love you. Like, you just speak up. And so pushing that on her of just those little things in this next year, that's where I got to do my part, because then she needs to be ready.
Right. But that's causing her to grow.
Yeah, exactly. And when she's uncomfortable, that's good. You're uncomfortable with that.
Absolutely.
Well, and even with some of our young people, they literally have told me, they're like, Dr. Robin, I don't have anybody to talk to about this. And that's the thing. Like, I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were talking about success. And I go, hold on. I go, define success. Because I want to know what their success is. I said, because, and that's the one thing that I always do with my young people is, I want them to start saying things, because, a lot of times when we're in it, we don't even know what's going on in our head. And so I'm like doing all this stuff, and, and then I was like, okay, so we're going back over here. Did you even realize what you just said? And they're going, wait, what about what? Like, did I, what? Huh? And I was like, oh yeah, well, clearly 5 of your last statements were over here. So maybe we ought to start looking over here. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, there has been a lot of disservice, and there has been a lot of things. And especially, like I said, our young teenagers, that when COVID hit, and I tell them all the time, I said, it was really tough. I said, teachers didn't know what to do. Parents didn't know what to do. Nobody really knew what to do, but we had to educate you guys. I said, you had to get an education. And I said, it was just so all over the place. But I tell my young babies, I said, but here's the thing. I said, y'all, right now, because you've had to state your schools out, you've had to go, wait a minute. Okay, well, hold on. Well, I don't know. Ask your mom. Mom doesn't know. Dad doesn't know. Teacher doesn't know. Whatever. So you have to figure it out. It's the figure it out muscle.
Yeah.
Strong.
And I like that you brought up the definition of success, because I've said that to all of the kids, even my stepchildren. Like, your definition of success will be different from your siblings' definition. So, like, my son's definition of success is, being this amazing, psychologist and following his mom's footsteps. That's his definition. My daughter's definition of success is, she's like, I just want to be a mom and a wife one day, and we living on a farm. Okay, then that's success for you. Like, that's great. And that's one thing too. It's like, that's her definition of success, like a good family and raising kids. Okay, that's great. The big thing in her is like, I really like, this is probably a me thing. I really want to foster independence, but where did that come from? That's where I had to check myself. I want to foster independence because I know what it's like to be codependent, and it was very uncomfortable for me. But at the same time, I grew from that, and that made me push on the complete opposite spectrum to where I'm very hyper independent now. Complete opposite. But all that stuff has helped me be where I am today. And so I know that every step that these children are taking, our kids, everyone, other people's kids, it's in a good direction.
Absolutely. Well, and I think too, it's just, again, a lot of people, depending on, introverts, extroverts, everybody's got this, even some of our 20-ishes, because I, work with some of them too. And they go into that whole, well, when I pulled it up on Google, it said this. And when I did that, they said that. Okay, if you go here, don't do that. Maybe dress like that. And I go, stop. Hold on. Human factor. You're the product. You are the product. You're the product. You're the product. I'm the product. As we say in sports, anybody can kick a ball this time. Anybody can do a cartwheel this time. You're the product. Use it as a guide. But I think so because a lot of people they didn't have anybody really working with them. So they have turned to AI. I literally had somebody say, yeah, my new therapist is ChatGPT.
Mm.
Okay.
I know.
And I'm like,
that is not what it's supposed to be for.
but again, if that is a starting point, if that is a tool, but it's like some people just because they haven't had to, they've got this learned helplessness.
Right.
And if that's a start, that's a start. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a good thing. I mean, but I'm like, that's just that you can't base your life on that. That's a piece of it. It's just a part. And that's what I think is that, because the dehumanization has happened and the data this and driven and that, and what about this, and what about that, and the statistical. And I'm like, these are our babies. These are humans. Y'all are humans. You have to bring that in, And I think we are getting back to that. And I'm like, you have to put yourself in experiential situations. Have the flushed face. Feel nervous in the car. Like you want to throw up. Did you? But did you die? But did you die? But did you die?
That's right. And if you get stuck, just get unstuck.
And that's why I do what I do with my students in class, because a lot of them have never even done an interview. So I make it. They present in my class. They do this, and I'm very interactive with them. I said because
a lot of them have social anxiety also.
Because
I've seen a lot of teens who present with social anxiety
because
COVID happened.
Right.
Yep.
They were behind
and now they don't
interact with their friends, and they don't. And we've watched YouTube in my room. We've done like role play in my room. If I was, a lot of my teens will ask or will say, I don't know how to start a conversation when I meet, or even know what to say when I'm meeting other friends. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And this is where too, like when we think about like to check our parents, to check us as a parent too, is in that young adult time too, is what kind of relationship do we want to have with our kids as a young adult, as an adult? So I feel like sometimes when some kids are very independent and they are trying to spread their wings and fly and go off, they want to hurry up and go off to college. And I've actually heard from parents' mouths say, my kid's not going off to college. If they're going to Tallahassee, I'm going to Tallahassee too. I'm moving my stuff. I can't be without my kid. I've literally had parents tell me that they are not going far. They're not going to Georgia. They're not going anywhere else. I'm just like, whoa. They're trying to get away from you. What does that tell you? I mean, if you think about it, what does that tell you? Yeah. They want to be away from you. So let them, right? Because what that's going to do is it's going to, first of all, it may hurt a little bit that they're like, I need to get out of here. I want to go on the opposite end of the country. If you allow them to do that, they will, first of all, appreciate that you supported them to do that. Second of all, they will appreciate you more because you are so far away. And you're going to be able to see all the work that you put in because that kid's going to do great things and be independent and call you when they need to know how to start their washer and dryer in their apartment, and all that stuff. So it's what kind of relationship do you want to have with your adult children? So why don't we, be a little bit vulnerable with our teens and adult kids and say, you know what, you're 17 now, you're going to graduate. What can I do better as a parent? What can I do to help you at this point? What do you want from me? And maybe we should do that, like every couple of years when they're growing and going into different stages, middle school, high school, they're going through all these different changes, is asking them. I've done that. I did that with my kids. And I'm like, hey, what could I do better?